clean, and I'm grateful to the programming committee for asking me to share tonight. Um, Welcome to DACMA 23. If you're new to Narcotics Anonymous, I want to welcome you. You are the most important person here. I kind of want to touch a little bit on the importance of being a newcomer in Narcotics Anonymous, because I know that when I came into the rooms, I felt like I didn't have much to contribute. Like, I didn't like raising my hand and sharing, because I've always struggled with self-worth, and I just didn't feel like anything that I felt like I didn't have anything to offer to anyone. And after being around here for a little while, what I can tell you is that the newcomer is just important to the member that's been here for a while, as the member that's been here a while is to the newcomer. Because we can only keep what we have by giving it away. And we can't give it away if there's nobody to give it away to. So I want to qualify myself a little bit. I grew up in an addict household, and both my parents were alcoholics and addicts, and that's all I grew up around. Everybody that they brought to the house were people that like to do the same things that they did. So it was instilled in me the whole time I was growing up that using was just a normal part of life. That's how we dealt with everything. That's how we celebrated. That's how we dealt with sadness. Anything we used. And so anyway, I started using at an early age. But before I started using, I always had a problem with self-confidence. I never felt like I fit in anywhere. So I remember when I was like 11 maybe, they tried to put me on Ritalin and stuff at school because I was attention seeking, and I was a class clown and all this shit. So they said I had ADHD, and they tried to put me on Ritalin. And my mom was like, "Oh, fuck that! I'm not just you'll smoke weed and you'll be fine." And so then kids at school found out that my mom let me smoke weed, and all of a sudden I was the guy that everybody wanted to fucking come over to my house and hang out with, you know what I mean? And for the first time in my life, I felt like I was a part of, and I felt like I fit in. And from that point on, I strived to be that guy. So, I started working at an early age and making my own money, and I didn't have bills to pay. So, I would buy mass amounts of drugs and just, I just everybody party. Here you go. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that fucking everybody wants to hang out with. So, as my drug use progressed, I started catching charges in and out of jail. I got involved with gangs, and I was in and out of jail my whole life, prisons, jails. I used even if I was in jail or prison, I still used. But I used for 30 years on and off. The first time I came to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous was in 2016. And I remember when I came, I didn't know what to expect. I came to the rooms. It was the last house on the block. I had tried everything. I had tried switching substances. I had tried giving people money to hold for me. I even went so far as to mailing myself money orders, and I'm sitting by the mailbox waiting for them to come so I could go get shit. and I'm stealing from my family, running out of Home Depot with shit, fucking, you know, typical shit. Army crawling across the floor, stealing shit. Like, I was okay with like being homeless and physical bottoms never really affected me. It's always been I have to be in a place where I'm spiritually bankrupt to be clean, and I know that because so I came in. It took me a while to get it the first time around, and I was clean for going on 3 years, like two and a half, a little bit more than 2.5 years, and I stopped doing the things that are suggested on the front of the meeting schedule, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But although I wanted to come back, and I knew that like this was the life that I wanted and I needed, like I couldn't make it back because I wasn't spiritually bankrupt. You know what I'm saying? It took me close to 3 years to be able to come back and get to the place that I am right now. So what I want to talk about is those things on the front of the meeting schedule, right? Which is like go to 90 meetings in 90 days, get a sponsor, get a home group, work steps, all the things, because so when I went to treatment this last time when I was getting clean this time, I remember my sister, who's not an addict, she was driving me down to Melbourne to go to treatment, and she told me, she said, brother, she said, I want you to be like a sponge, and I want you to soak up as much information as you can about this disease so you know how to live with it. And so I went in there, and I remember this guy, super smart guy. He came in there to do H&I, and he started talking about neuroplasticity. And right, so he didn't say that it was the science behind what they tell you to do on the front of the meeting schedule, but it to me that's how I related to it. And what he said was like, you got these neural pathways in your brain, right, and they get bigger and bigger as you do like the same things over and over and over again. So like, say you take a string and you attach it to an activity like getting high. And every time you do that activity, you wrap a string around it. Pretty soon you got a fucking rope, you know what I mean? And so he says, when you come to recovery and you do one of these things that they suggest from you, you take one of these ropes off of this getting high and attach it over here to one of these things, so that your automatic response isn't getting high anymore. It's doing one of these things. And I just remember that, when I had that 2.5 years clean and my life started to get full, and, life on life's terms showed up, I stopped doing the things that got me clean in the first place. And so what I want to stress is that, like, no matter how much time that we have clean, like, those are like the basics that we have to do every day. And like, I've found that no matter what I'm going through, like, if I go back to doing those things, like, if I start veering off, like, I'll straighten right back out. And I don't know. I truly believe that, my higher power allowed me to go through those things so that, because I had lessons that I needed to learn. And I don't know. I've always been a pretty hard-headed person, and I'm kind of like, a show me type of guy. I can't just take somebody else's word for it. But what I do know is that, although relapse is a part of my story, it doesn't have to be a part of any of your stories. I know plenty of people in Narcotics Anonymous who, only have one white key tag. I'm grateful for all my predecessors, all the people that came before me and who showed me love and tolerance and patience. And, didn't look down on me because, like when I did go through a relapse, I thought that, guilt and shame had me thinking like, oh, I can't go back there. These people are going to look at me all crazy and, this and this and that. But, the truth of the matter is that like, my favorite quote by Jimmy Kay, who was the founder of Narcotics Anonymous, and in his last speech, I don't remember what it says verbatim, but it says something like, we've been given a gift through our disease, through our illness, and through our suffering, a talent for helping other people like ourselves, and we're responsible for other people. And we don't need to ever forget that. And like, I'm grateful for the people that show up and don't judge and love on people no matter what, because sometimes, the basic text tells us that, we vary in degree of sickness and rate of recovery. And like, everybody doesn't get it the first time. Some people it takes more than others. But I've seen people that have come in and out, in and out, in and out for years finally get it. And I'm just grateful that, I've gotten it. And like my friend Stacy says, I'm glad I drank the Kool-Aid because, like I've lost so many of my fucking friends the last couple of years, man. Shit ain't no fun no more. It's like killing people left and right. So I'm grateful for Narcotics Anonymous. I don't know how long I'm supposed to speak. That's all I got. Thanks for letting me share.